Well, as you do research and follow up on what I'm saying, what you'll find is they cannot account for more than 200,000 people ever being imported to mainland America as African slaves. Right. In fact, if you go check the history book, and I learned this early on before I started realizing all this shit.
Wait, hold please stop for a minute. Hey, do you agree with that statement?
Slavery. They outlawed slavery against Africans early on.
Brother Heru, do you agree with that statement that only 200,000 black people was brought over here enslaved? Do you agree to that?
If it was only 200,000 people,
yeah.
Nah.
All right, Brother Ed, do you agree with that statement?
I don't agree with that.
In North America, yeah.
Well, I didn't hear you. What you say, Ish?
Yes, in North America, that's correct. There's major relabeling that's going on. There were indigenous people here that were relabeled and put into a status of slavery. But in North America, there's very few. Numbers are very few.
But I don't know about that 200,000 number. I'll have to check on that.
But check on it and go back and discuss it, because I've been searching for years and I haven't found any higher numbers when you come to official records of the slaves they stole. Now, they'll tell you they estimated 12 million and all this other stuff, but when you get down to the meat of it, they say 200,000.
All right, let me continue. Okay, we got some people in the chat room trying to figure out. He often questions where are the ships they use to bring us over here. Trying to say that a lot of us wasn't brought over here in slavery. And see, that's like one of them direct, almost you about to get cussed out quotes when you try to act like we wasn't brought over here. Well, let me help you out on the ships, right? The quote is, I often ask, where are all the boats used to bring us over here? What you don't know about the boats that were used to bring us over here, these crazy Europeans, right, they could use any ship they wanted and turn it into a slave ship. I'm not even going to give you the reference on that because I don't feel like it right now. But it's clear documentation showing how they changed different ships and turned them into slave ships. All the ships they got, they could easily turn into a slave ship. If you can't challenge me on that, we can do that too.
The comment you were making about the slave ships too, again, there's no reason to go deep into it. But one thing that we do know is for certain is that the Caucasian white people are not indigenous to America. Mm-hmm. And there were many of them that came over as slaves and indentured servants. And they came over on ships. Mm-hmm. So you would have to ask the question, how did the white slaves get over here? If you're going to ask how the black slaves got over here. So if you got a whole gang of white folks that came here to America, you know for certain they came over on some ships. So if you can't explain what happened to the white slave ships, then you certainly can't ask what happened to the black slave ships, because it's the same exact ships. It was nothing but cargo ships that was converted to move people, just like they was moving cattle and sheep and hay and everything else. They moved them. They just rigged them to move people. So
Right. Thank you.
There's hundreds of slave ships that are sank off the East Coast. It's just there's no money in lifting them up because it's so expensive. It costs millions of dollars, and they only invest the money into pulling up ships that would have gold and things that these investors can get their money back. It's not a feel-good type of thing to invest millions of dollars to raise up some ship just to say, oh, yeah, some black people was on it.
The Africans on those ships that they did transport were Africans from Spain. They were Moors. 90% of them were Moors from Europe. They were black people, but they were from Europe. And that's the only Africans they imported in large numbers. And of those numbers, and y'all have to all pay attention to this, there is no evidence that more than 1% of all slaves caught up in the slave trade triangle ever made it to mainland North America. So where did all of our numbers actually come from? That's the question we got to go back and ask our grandparents.